What's going on, y'all? It's Marv, just a Prophet 24, signing in for another video. Alright, today is going to be a quick and short one. I just want to get on here and drop some encouragement to you guys because I haven't did it in a while. So I'm at work, obviously, but today I want to talk about accepting grace. A lot of times we can get stuck in our head with the things that we've done in the past, or the things that we continue to do and choose over Jesus and His Word and His truth. And we can allow that to dictate, the place that we are in, the place of stagnancy that we're in. And we can let that fear consume us to the point where we're not moving, or we're not listening to the instructions, or taking heed to the instructions God has given us. So I wanted to remind you guys that the story of Jacob and Esau is perfect for the example of accepting grace. And what do I mean by accepting grace? So in Genesis 22, I believe, I'll fact check it, but in Genesis 22, I believe, the story of Jacob and Esau, you know how the angel of the Lord came to Rebekah, and he told Rebekah that she'll have two sons, and one will be clinging on to the other, trying to get his blessing, get his birthright or whatnot. I don't know if I'm paraphrasing, but I don't know if the angel explained it that exact way, but when the two came out the womb, when Jacob and Esau came out the womb, Jacob was clinging to his brother's heel because Esau was the older brother, obviously. So two go on, they get older, and you guys should know the story. You should be familiar with Jacob and Esau, how Jacob dressed himself up as Esau because his father was really old, couldn't see well, he was really old at age. So Jacob put on like hairy skins because his mother told him to get Esau's blessing or get Esau's birthright or whatever. So he did all of that to steal Esau's birthright, and that's exactly what he did. And then when Esau found out, Esau really, like he said, he'll end up killing Jacob after he'll end up coming to find Jacob to kill him, to slaughter him. So Jacob flees the scene and goes on the run, and that was the last time Jacob saw his mother alive. That was the last time, because he was on the run and he always was looking back on his shoulder. And even with this troubled past, God didn't flee from him. God didn't forsake him. And I'll get deeper into that in just a second. But I just wanted to let you guys know, like, you may have not stolen birthrights from your siblings or whatnot. It doesn't look that exact way, but we all have done things that we are not, we feel like we aren't deserving of God's grace. You know what I'm saying? Like struggling with, alcohol, struggling with smoking. It can be a lot of things, like watching corn. I can't say the real word on here, but there's a lot of things that we will feel undeserving of God's grace because we continue to give ourselves over willfully and continue to just indulge in activities that are not godly, that are not righteous. So with all of that being said, we have to remind ourselves that God is a just God, first and foremost, but He's also a forgiving God, and He's rich in all of these things. He's not just rich in wealth, and yeah, He can give you the abundance and the prosperity that you're looking for, but He's not just a God in money. Like, He's a God over everything. So if you're asking for forgiveness, He will forgive you. As many times as you think you fail, He will continue to tell you, get yourself up. The righteous are as bold as a lion, like it says in Proverbs. So get yourself up, dust yourself off, and continue to move forward. Continue to try to get right with God's help, because you can't do it on your own strength. The more you seek God daily, the more these desires or these sins, these temptations to sin will flee from you. The more you get in your word, the more you read. And I don't know how it looks different for everybody. Everybody's spiritual diet is different, but if you're not a morning person like me, it's incredibly hard. I'm gonna be transparent with y'all. It's incredibly hard to get up each and every morning to make that time for God, but I have to do it, because if I don't do that, then my whole day will be just a day of making constant decisions, feeling like I'm rushed, you know what I'm saying, or like not feeling like I'm being as productive as I should be, or as I need to be, and getting up and creating that space and creating that time with God and Jesus can actually provision my day to where, a lot of things can get done. I can get a lot more things done during and through the day. So, yeah, with all of that being said, back to the story of Jacob and Esau. So all of these years go on. You guys are familiar with Jacob's story. He goes to the Bible really weird, bro. Like, so he goes to this family, and I think his name Laban, but if I'm not, I'll fact check that as well. And he sees a really fine woman, and her name is, I don't think it's Lee, I think it's Rachel. Her name is Rachel. Thank you, Holy Spirit. And he wants Rachel to be his wife or whatnot, and Laban tells him that he has to work for him for 7 years, and then he can have her, right? So he does all of that, and in the 7th year, he goes inside the tent, and it wasn't, you know what I'm saying, like, basically, it wasn't who he wanted to be inside that tent. Like, that's, I'm paraphrasing the story again, but it's not who he wanted to be inside that tent. It was somebody else. You know, it wasn't Rachel. It was clearly somebody else. But anyways, you know, all of that, like, all of his mishaps, Jacob still was able to be used by God. You know, God uses people like Jacob in the Bible to bring awareness that anybody can be used for his kingdom. And it's not just Jacob that went through all of that. Even when Esau came back, or when Jacob found out that Esau was coming back, Jacob was getting ready to die, because he knew, like, he already knew what he had done. He was still thinking about, you know, I'm pretty sure what Esau had said when that has happened, you know what I'm saying? But so much, he wasn't thinking about how much time had went past. He didn't understand that Esau came to a place where he was just happy to see his brother. He was just happy to see his brother alive. So when Esau and Jacob, they finally saw each other, Jacob fell to his knees, not once, but twice. And Esau had to pick him up and let him know that, you know, I'm not here to kill you, or I'm not here to slaughter you or anything else. I'm just happy to see you and all of that. That's what we have to do with God. God is not here to punish us every single time we sin. That's what this message is coming across as. God is not here to punish us every single time we sin. Alright? Like, yes, sin, the wages of sin is death, but Jesus died on the cross and slayed Satan at Calvary, so our sins can be forgiven. And don't get that confused with, oh, we can just sin and everything will be okay, because it's not okay. It's still not okay to sin. You shouldn't, especially if you're chosen, bro. You should already know by now that if you sin, your repercussions or your consequences is going to be totally drastically different than anybody else that can do that. The wicked is out here doing that each and every day. They have they have the option to do that because they wicked. You know what I'm saying? Like, God, you know how many times God tries to get them to come over to the light, but they don't want to do that. They don't want to change their ways. They want to continue to be stuck in their ways and stuck in their past. So, that being said, you know you're chosen. It feels like, bro, it's not fair that you got to go through so much things. It's because God is taking you to a better place. It's because God is taking you higher. It doesn't necessarily have to look like money that's all around you. It's not just that, bro. He's working inside of you, the fruits of the Spirit. He's working on your patience. I mean, if he's holding and delaying a blessing, he's making sure that everybody around you is correct. Because once he brings that blessing to you, bro, he doesn't want anybody leeching off your blessing, because you deserved it. You was the one in the ringer each and every day. I'm speaking to the chosen. You was the one in the ringer each and every day, bro. Getting stepped on, getting overlooked, you know what I'm saying, getting betrayed left and right. You didn't know which way to turn, because you didn't even know if you could trust a human vessel anymore, bro. That's how serious it got with the betrayals. Don't get me started. For real, like, you often find yourself alone in so many situations, but there's beauty in being alone, because if you're not alone, then you wouldn't be able to find who you truly are. Like, I'm alone right now, but, like, doesn't necessarily mean that I'm lonely. I'm just alone, you know what I'm saying? I have to be alone. And if I'm not alone, I wouldn't be able to find out, or I wouldn't be able to pursue the things that I wanted to pursue, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? So, I know I'm just talking on here, and I know things ain't all fully come to pass in my life, but I know they will. And I'm giving somebody else that encouragement that they will, you know, as long as you just accept the grace and stop telling yourself that you're too far gone, or you'll never get over this addiction, you'll never get over this sin, you'll never get over. Don't tell yourself that. That's of the enemy, bro. That's of the enemy. God can free you from anything that's holding you captive, anything that's holding you bound or chained. He can free you from the kingdom of darkness. He can free you from that sin, from the lust, from the demons, from the whatever. Jesus can free you from all of that. I'm 23 years old and I'm saying all of these things, and I know how hard it is because I still struggle with certain things. Well, one thing I still struggle with, but at the end of the day, I know that I'll be able to be delivered from it because I'm not going to continue to kick myself down each and every time I indulge or fall back into that. You know, you see what I'm saying, bro? Like, I know I've been working hard to live a life to where I don't have to look for that as a way of pleasure, or not just pleasure, just look for that as a way, you know, to cope with things, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I want to cope with anything, if I need to go to my word and be okay with that, you know, just be at a place or be at a space where I'm okay with reading my Bible, praying, meditating, and focusing on my dreams and what I want to come into fruition, what I want to come to pass. So, all of that to say again, that accept the grace when God gives it to you, because there's a lot of things where, or I'm pretty sure there's a lot of days where, you know, it can be rough, it can be challenging, but there's little messages along that challenging day that God is with you if you're just open, you know, if you just open your eyes and take heed to the signs that He's always going to be there with you, whatever you're going through. You know, just focus on that day, focus on the present moment as much as possible. Don't focus on tomorrow, don't focus on the next day. God and Jesus be saying you already have so much in the day that's ahead of you that you shouldn't be worrying about how you're going to pay this next week. You see what I'm saying? Next week going to take care of it. So you got to focus on worry about what you can do today and be better than what you was yesterday. So don't let that fly over your heads. Hope this encouraged you guys. And, you know, again, go read the story of Jacob and Esau and see how Jacob had a troubled past. You know, he sinned. He literally stole his brother's birthright, you know what I'm saying? So he did a lot of things to where he didn't think God would be there for him along the way, but God never left him nor forsake them, and He still used them as one of the 12 tribes of, you know what I'm saying, like, God fulfills His word, like it says in Isaiah 55:11, and it comes to pass each and every time. You know, fulfilled that prophecy with Jacob and his life and his children afterwards. So, Marv just a prophet signing out, man. Peace.